Okay, we're setting up to go live. I don't know if you can see my end or not.
Wait a minute. Let me. Yes, Facebook. Yes, it's saying yes. I can.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see on the taskbar. Okay, it's all right. I guess we are live, isn't it?
This is interesting because it's like it's paused on my end for some reason. So, okay, so this looks good. Um, okay, I think we're live. Here we go. Now there's a little bit of a pause. If you can see my screen and see that we're on live, there's always a bit of a pause. So just go ahead and start presenting and don't worry about what Facebook is showing. There's a huge lag time for some reason.
Okay, okay. So first of all, namaste to you. And today we are going to discuss a little bit about the transit of the coming week, and also regarding what will be the effect. So I'm very thankful to you, Sammy, that you gave me an opportunity to speak on this, and I'm very grateful to you also. So today, like as we have said, that today's session will be on the transit of the upcoming event. So just let me share the screen for that. Okay. So I guess you can see my screen right now. Okay. Okay. So this will be tomorrow's chart, because we are taking the natural zodiac, which is the Aries ascendant. So we are making the chart as per the Aries ascendant. So it will be coming like the thing is starting from one Aries and then Taurus and then Gemini. So it will be going on that sequence. Okay. So tomorrow at 16th of August, there will be two transit happening simultaneously. That will be of Sun. The Sun will be moving into its own house in Leo, and Mars will also move into its own house, rather the Moon Trikona, tomorrow only. And this will be the overall transit. Now, for tomorrow only, because also on next day, that means on 17th of August, Mercury will also transit from Cancer to Leo. Okay, because they both are in the end degree. Okay. So one thing which is very interesting, right, this time at this like next week, rather whole of the next week, your ascendant lord, like the Mars is in the Gandanta. It will be in the star of Ashwini, ruled by Ketu, and Sun will also be in the star of Magha. Okay, Magha, which is also ruled by Ketu. Mercury is at this point of time you are seeing it in Aslesha Nakshatra, but it will be moving from Aslesha to Magha on 17th. See, now you can see here, Sun and Mercury are coming in this spot, right? So that will be one more transit on 17th of August. Now all the things, now you have to take this very interesting point into consideration, that at this point of time there will be four planets which will be in Ketu ruled nakshatra, and in fact Ketu is also in Gandanta in its own nakshatra, because you can see Ketu here in Sagittarius with Jupiter right now. You can see the cursor of my mouse here, and Ketu here is also in Mula, right? In the Mula, its own nakshatra. So you see all the triad nakshatra of Ketu, all the triad nakshatra of Ketu from Aries, in Aries, be it Ashwini, in Leo, be it Magha, or in Sagittarius, be it Mula. In all the triad nakshatra of Ketu, there are planets, and which is also in the Gandan. So, more interestingly, what we can say is at this moment of time, the lot of influence from Ketu will come in. Okay, because ultimately Ketu is the dispositor of all these planets as per the nakshatra, not by the virtue of the house, I'm saying it. So you see, when Ketu is transiting in the Mula, so we have to understand the basic triad of Mula before going into any other further discussion. Mula means destruction. Mula means some deep rooted issue because Mula is actually the roots. Okay. And one more thing I would also like to give you here insight about that Mula is ruled by Nirutti, the goddess of destruction. So the there can be two things which we can predict actually here. There is one regime which may get broken, or the rules which were going till now will be broken like that, or there will be something coming in and which will go as soon as the Ketu is leaving the Mula. Because you see, either there will be some new formation and it will vanish, or it will be like all the old things which are happening in this world till now, be it rule, be it the situation, or anything else, will come to an end all of a sudden. Mula also shows sudden events. Now, here, one thing I would also like to tell you regarding, because see, Moon is a very fastest moving planet. You see, Moon on some day it will be transiting its own sign. Okay,
And hold on,
because
Kiki, for 1 second. Let me kind of intervene here just for a second, since we're talking about K2 and we're talking about Mula before we get on to the moon. So what this really looks in people's lives at this point is one thing that we know about K2, it's a headless snake. All right. So sometimes K2 can really act without thinking. And we've got Mars, which is a fiery, angry planet, especially at this point. And we've got the sun, our ego, which joined with Mercury, our speech. So we can really be speaking from an anger, an emotional anger, not using our head and thinking before we're speaking. So we can really cause a lot of turbulence, or maybe somebody around you can cause a lot of turbulence in your life. One thing that I think is really important about Mula Nakshatra, it is about breaking that ground and ripping up the old roots. And also it has to do with winning the victories, right?
right,
We're talking
right.
about Kali. Kali wasn't so much a goddess of just going out and just destroying anything and everything with no purpose. Kali was protecting. She's out trying to destroy the enemy. So the heads that she was collecting and, was showing, a victory over your enemies. But I just wanted to really point that out before we move into the moon. Watch the tempers, watch what's going on around you. Plus we're going to see a lot of storms at this time, so we may see a lot of our um, things being killed off, or people dying, or some type of tragedies. And in fact, one just happened this morning, and I just want to mention it so people understand what we're looking at. And I'm not going to name a place, country, or nothing, but I'm just going to tell you what happened just the last couple of days, that a little girl from an orphanage was being unfortunately raped by one of the men in the orphanage. Found out she got pregnant. He found out she got pregnant and ended her life yesterday.
So this
Okay,
is very
so
sad
these are the
actually.
type of situations, you guys. This is the world that we live in. This is the reality of these energies. So Keep your emotions in check. Make sure you use that Mars and go inward, not outward with your anger. Go ahead.
Yes, wonderful. And one more point I would also like to put here that you see, uh, Mars is also, yes, very aggressive at this point of time. One point which we have to notice is that when we are looking at this conjunction of Sun and Mercury, especially in the Magha Nakshatra, there will be a lot of turmoil also in political system, because fifth house is the natural house for the ministers, right?
Yeah.
The natural house for the minister, and as Sun and Mercury will influence 5 and 11th axis, because 11th also is the gain of anything, okay, and also the power position. So from 5th and 11th axis, and in especially Sun being in the Magha Nakshatra, there will be some incidents happening in political level also, and that will be very significant one. And once you see, when Moon will be in um, Leo, when Moon will be in Leo, let me tell you the date. When Moon will be in Leo on 18th, sorry, 19th of August, 19th of August, on the new moon day, it might trigger something in the Magha Nakshatra, because Magha is also the royal seat, the royal throne. And we know that, especially in USA, I would like to tell you, because in India we don't have the election right now. In USA, there are some events or some stunts which are going daily. Means even in news you can hear something is we can suddenly some events are coming out. Okay, from both the parties, I'm saying.
You're right.
So exactly. So on 19th of August, if people are observing a little, means events carefully, they might be thinking, or they might get some news which will be coming in that day, because it is a new moon and a new starting. So this is
Right.
also
You're
one
correct,
point.
and we all need to be so careful. And this is why I always tell everybody who follows and listens to me, when we're mentioning these transits that are really difficult. All right, that we as individuals need to really check ourselves and not to get involved or wrapped up into the emotions of the general society, because there's
Exactly.
so many people who are not self-aware. So really just pay attention to these emotions and that feeling. And when these events are coming down, and they're going to come down,
Right.
just meditate and don't go all over the place, and feed into the energy. Okay. Something in the end of 2021, or excuse me, in 2020, as we're going into 2021, will be very healing. I promise you guys, just hang in there. Watch your tempers, watch your heads, watch violence. Mars is about violence. And in K2, these are two very cutting nakshatras. So, in your homes, depending on what your planetary alignments are, always be careful around sharp objects, right? And just always make sure you keep your cool. Keep your head, you guys. Go ahead,
Exactly.
KK.
Exactly. Okay. So one more thing I would like to tell you. One more thing I would what I am seeing here. One more thing is, you see, it is also very important to see the aspect of Mars and Saturn. You see, now you can see the Mars is in Aries, and Mars has got the fourth aspect, which is a special aspect, and Saturn also got the seventh aspect. So you see, when Mars is looking at the fourth house and Saturn is also looking at the fourth house, they both are malefic and they are afflicting this house. They both are afflicting this house. Now, one thing is very common here. The fourth house, or the Cancer is the natural fourth house. So people will definitely are not going to get some rest, or even if they are getting the rest, they will have difficulty in sleeping, or in house comfort. They will not be very, the house environmental environment will not be so much cordial or comfortable. See, this is also one thing which I am mentioning here.
Perfect. Perfect. And something else I want to mention also in regards to that Mars and Saturn aspect, but also Jupiter, you guys. Jupiter and Saturn are both retrograde. So we are still revisiting what we thought was resolved. We're revisiting those degrees because it's not resolved. And this is all about what's going on in the government because it's a 10th house naturally, a 10th house Capricorn. That's our government, public service. Saturn rules this house. So, and then Jupiter is in the ninth house. The ninth house really has to do with higher law. So we're looking at what's going on that's corrupt in our government that does not match the higher law of Jupiter, the wisdom of Jupiter, right? So justice is coming out, but in order for justice to happen, the corruption has to come out. And so now Mars is hitting um, a Saturn, and Mars is angry. And don't
Right.
forget, Mars is going to be going retrograde too. So whatever
Exactly.
Mars is angry at right now, when he goes back over that Gandanta point, he's even going to be more angry. Just wanted to point that out.
One thing is what I am trying to say is Mars is not going out of the Gandanta even till it is going to get retrograde. See, as per my
Yes.
personal experience, what I am seeing, I consider one the last charan of the nakshatra of Mercury and the first charan means the pada of the nakshatra of Ketu to be the Gandanta point. In that 3 degree and 20 minutes, it is the Gandanta. After it has moved to the second pada, then the Gandanta is over, to be honest. Okay. So in that situation, Mars is not going to cross more than 3 degree. You just see the Panchanga, you just see the Panchanga for
Yes.
when Mars is getting retrograde. Until then, Mars will be inside the 3 degrees. So it will be in Gandanta for a very long period of time. Say, for example, around 90 days it is going to. Because Mars usually take 45 days to transit over a sign. Now it is not going out because it has, you can see the screen here. Mars is in Aries at this point of time, and Sun is in Leo. That the difference is more than 120 degree, right? So whenever the difference between Mars and Sun becomes more than 120 degree, the Mars will start moving retro. It will go backward, and Sun is never retro. We know that.
Right.
So Sun will also go forward, and Mars will be behind, going behind it, right? So again, when you are looking at the 3 degree, because as I told you, 3 degree and 20 minutes becomes the first pada. It will again go back and enter into the Pisces because it is going to transit the sign. But we are not going to cover that in this video because it will be in the month of November, I guess. Right. So for the weekly prediction, yes, we can say that yes, this week will be full of drama and full of entertainment, if you may say. If you are watching the news, then you will be entertained with
Yeah.
all the
Yes.
political stunts going on in everywhere in the world. Let me tell you, because
Yeah.
this all these things will trigger some events.
Right, right. And we just, and on a personal note, again, and I always have to reiterate that everybody who's listening to me, don't get wrapped up in social media. Because right now, I let you know that there are so many lies and so many conspiracy theories out. We don't know what the truth is. And that's done on purpose because the people that are correct are going to do everything in their power not to have the truth revealed. So don't get wrapped up in false news, which is most of the media right now. The corruption will float to the top, but just, don't lose your temper over maybe something that's false.
The only suggestion which we can give as astrologers and the well-wishers of the community and countries and the world, we can only say that have patience at using your own head, because at this point of time there will be lot of incidents that will boil the blood. There will be incidents which will trigger such events which will become very violent. So try not to go into any type of confrontation.
Perfect.
That
Right.
that we can say by this transit.
And what a beautiful time when you go into meditation. What a beautiful time to really use the energies, especially the retrograde energies, as looking at your root chakra, your sacral chakra, and your solar plex chakra. Right?
Right.
These are the chakras that Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars rules. What a beautiful time to go and just re-look at some of your own emotional upsets and behaviors. Maybe you can change some things. Awesome.
Right. Right. So you are absolutely correct here, because you see, until September no planet is going to get direct. Okay, means Saturn is going to in the direct motion in end of September, and Jupiter will be entering, means will be direct by September mid. Okay, I guess 12, yes, 12 or 13, 13, 13. And in the middle means
I'm,
first Jupiter is going to be in direct motion, then Rahu Ketu will transit their signs on 24th IST, Indian Standard Time, in morning 5 a.m. And then Saturn will be direct on 29th of September. So these are
right,
the dates, and you see again the whole equation will change. Again the whole equation will change, because at that moment of time Sun will be in Virgo. So again, you see, we have to study all the things. So whatever thing has started will dissolve definitely, because as I earlier told you, that Mula will obviously destroy that energy which are already present here, right? So that
right.
is why how it is going to play out.
Now, so next week, so now do we have in Venus? I didn't check the nakshatras, but is Venus going to be switching nakshatras next week?
Uh, no, Venus will not be going to change the nakshatra, because as per the panchang which I follow actually, because there are many panchang,
So,
there are
and
many panchang.
okay,
According to the panchang which I follow from Ujjain, uh, Venus is not going to change the nakshatra. It will be in Ardra.
right,
It might change the Patha. Okay,
right.
because right now at this point of time Venus is in Ardra Pada 3, right? Pada 3. So it
Yeah,
might
so
go to Pada
close.
4, but it is not going to change the nakshatra soon.
Right.
And
And just to let you guys know, Ardra is it's a symbol of a teardrop. And so we have Venus in here. So we're talking about relationships, right? We're talking about our values. I think we're going to be receiving a lot of really upsetting energy. And and right now, the divorce rate is so high right now in America. I don't know what it is around the rest of the world, but it's just, I tell you what, we're having such huge relationship problems. But I think we want to be careful. Rahu is in that Mars ruled nakshatra. If Mars is angry, Rahu is not going to be behaving well either. We can really
no,
have some events like that young little girl who was just killed, right? And she was being raped, got pregnant, and was killed because she was pregnant. So we may be seeing a lot more of those type of events. Go ahead, KK.
one thing I am also trying to show you, because as in just previous sometime I showed you that Mars and Saturn are afflicting the fourth house. Neither they are afflicting the fourth house, but also the seventh axis, seventh house. You see the natural seventh house, the Libra. Mars is casting its seventh aspect and Saturn by its 10th aspect. The Lord of Venus, the lord of this sign, that means the natural zodiac is Libra. She is in Ardra Nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu, and she is also in Rahu Ketu axis, which is not a favorable point. So also you see again the same thing is coming. The affliction from Venus, from Mars and Saturn on the seventh house,
Yeah.
and the Lord, the natural karakatva, the natural significator for any relationship, you say, any relationship, be it husband, wife, lover, boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, any relationship, right? That Venus is here in pain because you see of nakshatra Ardra, and second thing, it is also in the Rahu Ketu axis. That is also not very
Yeah.
favorable. So this will means till this week means 22nd of August, right? 22nd of August, um, there will be some turmoil in this area also. So yes, as you have mentioned, that people must be very watchful on what they are doing,
Yeah.
and these kind of event, yes, may trigger up not only in USA but also in India or in this in the world, because you see natural we see at this point of time we are talking about the natural zodiac, okay, the natural Kal Purusha chart. If we would have to take especially on one thing, then we would have taken the zodiac of that country, but we are not doing that. We are doing the mundane overall astrology, right? So in this point, this will be the whole effect, the full effect of the planet in this sign. So these things may trigger up. And also one more thing I would like to add here. Okay, if you have anything to add on, please add. Then I'll make the last comment.
Okay. No, I think the biggest I mentioned, I think the most important for people's personal lives. One thing I did want to kind of readdress, I know that I said last week, but speaking of breaking contracts, really re-looking at things in your life, does this really, still work for me? Something about Saturn retrograde and even Jupiter retrograde gives us a chance though to relook at contracts to see if they really work for our life or not. So that's why we're going to see, even on the marriage side, of course, and partnerships, really break up at this time because you got that retrograde. We're looking at the contracts. So many contracts are broken during a Saturn retrograde if it's being aspected just right.
Exactly, exactly. And okay, so one more thing I would like to add here. On the new moon day, okay, on the new moon day, because as the new moon will be here, because at that moment of time, what is going to happen? The moon will be with sun, okay, and also with its enemy. Mercury consider moon to be enemy, but moon does not consider anyone to be enemy. At that point of time, we must also see that some harsh weather condition might prevail. Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. That's
one 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 thing, yes, that is why the background of your setup is actually showing that, because it is the bad weather. Either maybe there may be some tropical cyclones, or there
yes,
may be some very much heat waves going on, or there might be some excess rainfall. Okay, these three things may be considered. And yes, earthquake I'm not going to tell you, because there is a different method of predicting that. We are leaving that for the time being. So, but at means overall, when we are looking at this chart and we are saying yes, then there might be some of the harshest weather condition for 1 or 2 days. Yes, it might happen. It
absolutely
might
it
happen.
will. And I know that China's getting beat down. They're underwater right now. A large part of China's having those floods. But definitely worldwide, you guys expect the storms. The storms are going to be really bad right now. They're
Right.
triggered. So just kind of hang on because we're in for a ride.
So overall, this was the analysis, because after that, no planet are going to transit next week except the moon. It's after 22nd. But yes, the degrees will of the planet will change. Okay, so after that we can definitely start again with the new type of chart when it is coming, because at that means after 22nd of September, August, there will be more changes in the moon sign, because the heavyweight planets like Saturn, Jupiter, Rahu, Ketu are not going to change the sign. Sun will be ahead, yes, it will be changing its nakshatra by then, but and Mercury then, but not so major change at that point of time.
Perfect.
Yes,
Oh, I think we covered pretty much everything. Yes. Thank you
yes, yes.
so much for coming on and doing the astrology for the week. So we had so much to cover. So I really appreciate you and your knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I'm very much obliged that you called me and gave opportunity to speak with the people. So yes, it is a blessing and also a good opportunity. So yes, I'm
Perfect.
glad. And also, I would like to thank you from my astrological team, Om Astrology, and as a KK Singh Vedic astrologer, I do namaste to you. Thank you.
Um, Thank you so much, KK. And just, let kind of everybody know when I'm going to be doing a live starting on Monday every day, and I'll put up the events, but I'm just going to be covering the moon because the moon's going to be triggering a lot of emotions in our life. And we are going through a tough time. So I'm thinking that if I go on at least Monday through Friday every day just to cover the moon transits and how emotionally we are taking things, maybe it can really help stabilize and keep us grounded through these really hard times. Also, I will, as KK is putting out some of his wonderful knowledge in Vedic astrology, I will be sharing that on my page in our group as well, so that you guys have access to that. So,
Thank you for that.
thank you. You guys have a beautiful Saturday.
God bless.